Hi, everybody. Just letting you know that this podcast is sponsored by EA. Thank you so much for letting me be part of the Creator Network and giving me early access to this pack. I am very excited to dive into this. I have Gonz and Nard, who are also part of the Creator Network, and Disney Sims. I cannot wait to dive in. At the end of this podcast, we will share our creator codes if you're listening to this and would like to purchase this pack. Please consider using one of our creator codes. Again, thank you, EA, for giving us early access to these kits, this pack, and thank you again. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Part two. Thank you so much for being here today to talk about this new expansion pack. I'm honestly, I generally was really excited when I saw the concept of it, and obviously the trailer, and getting a chance to dive in a little bit more about this game. I was like, it was actually something original, so I'm really excited to talk about this today. But before we dive in, let's do a quick round of introductions. Nard coming in for the second most returning guest.
Let's go.
Yes.
Nardvillain. I do mostly Sims 4 content, lots of Let's Plays, tips and tricks. Stream on Thursdays, and yeah, I'm known for Dag, and I guess, according to court, I was famous for crying on the internet.
Also, congratulations on almost a year of marriage.
Oh yeah, almost a year in marriage. Yeah,
almost a year in marriage. Are you in a couple? Are you like the beginning of November? The beginning, middle, right?
Beginning. Yeah,
okay,
beginning of November.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, because I know Danielle just passed her 1 year. But I'm very excited when we will talk, when all three of us will sit down and talk about our first year of marriage and what it was like.
Yeah.
And what was it, our expectations of what we were expecting? So very excited for that podcast. Will come out later this month. Court coming back for our most returning guest of all time. Hi, baby girl.
Oh, hello. Always hello. Anything to be heard. Hi, I'm Court, aka the Disney Sims, aka Townie Tales, and I have been playing The Sims for forever. And I also am on this podcast a lot, and then I moderate for two awesome guys.
I love that. Gonz, welcome back.
Well, thank you so much.
So you're coming in for like my third most returning guest of all time. You're coming.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm really behind. I'm really behind from everyone else, but
we can fix that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, my name is Gonz. I am a Sims content creator. I focus mostly on the lore and the meta aspects of The Sims. I am not a builder. I am not a stylist, but despite that, I have one of the most popular building series on YouTube and Twitch. Or TikTok, I should say. So that's dope. But yeah, that's me.
I mean, it's an amazing series, and it's so.
Welcome back to Renovate or Repeat.
I love that. Okay, so let's dive in to this new expansion.
Real quick, Stas. Can I say one thing though?
Of course you can.
You officially on one of your podcasts called me a producer of your show, so I feel like I can get producer credit, right? Because you did say okay, so
yes.
That outranks any existing person that holds the most times being invited on your show. So I get high ranks. I'm producer.
You get high ranks.
Perfect.
You get high ranks. 100%. Right. We clear this up.
Okay.
We're gonna argue about this every single stream. Like every single stream, we're gonna argue about who's more important to Stassi. Apparently.
Exactly. Pretty much. All right. You could proceed, Stas. You could proceed.
You know who you are.
I love how we all think it's us.
Not me. I know I'm way behind on the list. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm the redheaded stepchild here.
Absolutely not. You're my middle child, and I love that.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, so we're gonna talk pack, right? Let me tell you guys something. All right, I'm gonna put it all on the table for a moment. When I heard about this expansion, I thought it was the silliest, cash grabby idea I had ever heard of. Like honestly, 100, like before we had a trailer, before we had anything, I was like, "Oh, they're releasing a Halloween pack. This is going to be like the silliest thing. It's just going to be like random, like it's going to be dumb. There's probably like a filler pack, like a filler season or whatever." And then seeing the trailer, seeing kind of like behind the scenes stuff and then actually getting to experience it, I can confidently say that Life and Death is probably the best Sims 4 expansion pack that has ever been released. Like absolutely without a doubt.
It's
Like
up there for sure.
Oh, it's
yeah, it is
100% up there.
yeah, it is exceptional everything they did. And I think one of the things that we should talk about, of course, is and now this is technically considered a base game update, but it effectively was part of the expansion, is that you can finally create ghosts in Kaz. That has been one of like the craziest things that we haven't been able to do in forever. And being able to do that for the first time and being able to choose how you died and everything, I think is one of the coolest things. One thing that they didn't really talk about that we got to experience though is that you can actually choose your ghost color. Like despite what you, so you know how your ghost can have like a mood, right? Where like if you're angry you turn red or something like that. You can actually disable that per sim, and you can actually make your sim be whatever like color ghost that you want. And they actually have a whole bunch of brand new colors that weren't there before. So you can be a purple ghost, a green ghost, a blue ghost, etc. Like all these really cool different colors. And I think that is just a ton of fun. And of course, ghosts are now like quasi occults because they have their own little like branching leveling path. Have you played with that, Nard, yet so far? Like the ghost powers?
Yeah, I've been looking into it. Yeah, I like how it's, you already know. Yeah, I like how
Yeah.
it's tiered into like the good ones, like the little wholesome ones you can get where you can like maybe help somebody with their plants, their gardening or whatever. And then you have the
Yeah.
ones that are a little bit more my type, a little bit more on the unhinged kind of, where you can flip someone upside down and like take their money and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, so much like I think it's like werewolves and vampires. You know how they have like skill trees where you can put skills into your occult. With ghosts, they have that exact same thing. It's called Ghost Mastery, and just like Nard said, you could either have like good, like benign sort of actions, and then you could have malicious ones where you're just a baddie ghost, right? And what I like about the good side is that it is so wholesome. So one of the first skills you get as a ghost, if you're like a good ghost, is you can hug people to improve their mood.
Yeah.
And that's literally what they do. They just walk up and they hug and like they pick you up. Like they like force hug you up and like it improves and brightens your mood. Another thing that they can do is they can guess your mood. So if you wanted to like be able to like scan a sim and tell what mood they're in, ghosts can do that now. And then the malicious sims, like they can scare ghosts, they could scare sims, they can create puddles of water, they can like set fires, like they're just menaces. Like I'm gonna hate having them in my game. I don't want bad ghosts.
Yeah, I like that you can also woohoo and random. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I know what you're going to talk about. I'm
Oh
excited
yeah,
about that.
yeah. I was gonna say I like that you can woohoo in random like areas and objects and stuff like that,
That's
which
right.
is cool.
That's right. Yeah, the ghost woohoo, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm
I
sure.
love that you can choose how they died.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's absolutely there are a couple, there's only one new death in Life and Death, which is murder by crows. Yeah, and there's a whole like story to that, which I guess it kind of leads us to the conversation about the pack, right? So Life and Death, obviously, aside from a whole bunch of like mechanical things, is based on this new world called Ravenwood, right? And Ravenwood is very much themed to like Romania, like inspired by Romania. So it's very much like very country, has like farms and villages. Very, very pretty. Like I think probably one of the prettier worlds that we have. And what is incredibly interesting about it is that one of the neighborhoods is effectively the land of the dead, right? And the way it looks, if you look at the map, is that it's like behind the veil. Like half of the map is covered by like fog, and behind that is the world of the undead, or like the ghosts, where like the Grim Reaper reigns, right? And that whole aspect of it, again, it's entirely ghosts, a whole bunch of ghosts there. Everything looks sickly. Like, if you guys have ever been to like the Magic Kingdom, or Disneyland, like the Haunted Mansion kind of style things, where everything's very like not scary, but like kind of sickly green and everything. That's kind of how this world is. Not campy at all, which I really, really liked. And it's very cool. Like it's very pretty. What's your favorite area so far, Nard, in it?
I'm gonna say the same because I don't know if you noticed when you live. What's that top right? The top, very top
Yes,
neighborhood.
that's Whispering Glen.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I like when you start there, the welcome wagon, they're ghosts. They come and
Yeah.
welcome you, which is super
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah, that's a good point out. So in Ravenwood, the welcome wagon no longer exists, and instead it is the Ravenwood Welcoming Committee. And like, they don't bring fruitcake anymore. They bring what's
Yeah.
called pan de muerte, which is basically just like a Mexican like bread that's for like the Day of the Dead or whatever. But that's what they bring now. So no more fruitcake. The fruitcake is over, y'all. It's done. Like, we're done with it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. It's disgusting. But yeah, that I thought that was
Yeah.
very, 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 very cool. I think what I like, The Sims has an aspect to them, that I don't know if you guys have noticed it yet, but they tend to have a world, and then their three neighborhoods are always very different as to what they are, like as like a theme, right? So I very much like that for Ravenwood. You have like the city, like very much cobblestone, ancient, like European style buildings, and then you have one which is very much like the farmland, open fields, farms, etc. And then of course you have the Morning Vale, which is the Grim Reaper area, right? Um, but yeah, it's very pretty. There are 13 lots, and that is not by accident. Like, that was a very calculated number. Like, it very exclusively has 13 lots, because
My
that's
favorite number.
exactly.
13
Exactly.
plus the plus one, which is the Neverworld. What was
Yes.
it? Department of the Dead or something like that.
Department. And I think that's the
NWDD.
dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
Oh, that title.
I think the fact that the Grim Reaper has an office style business front is just the campiest thing in the world.
They got to make it cute too, Like paranormal. Paranormal is kind of cute, but supposed to be spooky, But they throw in the little cute ghost and all that just to give it that rated T for teens kind of vibe.
That's fair, but they go a little overboard. So Stasi, you can obviously join in this expansion the Reaper career,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now here's the funny thing. From what I noticed, I don't think this was announced, and you guys tell me if it was announced in like the marketing, but there's actually a second career that's available, and so it's Undertaker. They
Huh.
finally
Yeah, they talked
added-
about that,
yeah.
I think.
Did they? I don't remember seeing
No.
it, but that's just me. I don't remember seeing it. I saw it and I was like,
maybe
"What?" Yeah. So there is an Undertaker career that splits off into two branches, where you can either be a mortician or a funeral director, right? So that's a brand new career that's in place, which is very cool. And it has its own it has its own kind of style or whatever. But obviously, I mean, that kind there's funerals now in the game as like an event. It's very similar to like weddings, less buggy, I hope. But there is funerals. But obviously you need someone to direct those funerals, and that's what a funeral director does, is that they put it together, they make it all nice and stuff. So when you have that career, you actually like plan funerals, right? I haven't played with Mortician. Have you played with him, Nard, yet? I haven't had the chance to play with Mortician
Nah,
yet.
I've been still messing around with the earlier stages of the Grim Reaper career.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the Grim Reaper career, right? Now, I'm going to leave the Grim Reaper to Nard, but it is. Listen, the Grim Reaper career is a full-on career, kind of like detective, where you go to like a different place and then you have like actual like actions that you need to take. So one of the things that you do in the Reaper career is that you go and you actually perform reapings. Like you go and like take dead Sims away, right? I experienced one that blew my mind and I couldn't believe it. I got a random Reaper event where I had to deal with an emotional reaping, right? So I get there and like people are crying and begging me not to take the sim, and like I have to because it's my job. Like there's not even an option to like let them go. I have to reap them.
Yeah.
Like
they can plea though. They can
they can plea, yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't really work a lot.
Here's the best part about it. Okay? After you take someone's dearly departed, you can ask them for a rating, like an Uber, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It is
5 out of 5 would recommend to a friend.
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine.
Yeah.
And I think you can also ask for tips. That's absurd.
Wow. I don't think I've seen that one. Not the tips.
That is absurd. Like it's so campy, the idea of like, look, I know you're really upset, but if you could just take a moment to rate me 5 stars, it really helps a lot.
Give me a 5 simoleon tip too.
It costs money to get here.
Yeah. It's gonna advance my career if you give me a 5-star. Trying to move up the ranks.
Yeah. But no, aside from that, obviously it's a fun career. The idea, of course, is that, you know, Grim is like the boss of everything, right? But it very much I don't know, that felt a little weird to me, but I understand they have to keep it lighthearted, right?
Yeah.
They can't make it too serious, or else it's not gonna be pleasant for everybody. One of the things actually that EA provided to me was a series of like tarot cards, which we should talk about the tarot cards at some point, right? But when I received those tarot cards from EA, there was actually a letter, like a disclaimer, that basically said like, if you don't want to deal with this topic, please skip this letter and just enjoy the tarot cards, because they were very cognizant that people might not want to deal with aspects of death, right? They might not want to do that. And it was a little curious, because like the expansion is kind of like, you can't like escape it a little bit, right? Like it's kind of a very real thing about it. But I suppose that would kind of lead to the next big feature of the expansion pack, which is of course the rebirth system. This was perhaps the most game-changing thing I've seen so far in The Sims. Now, basically, whenever your sim dies, they can be reborn again, right? John 3:16. No, but like they very much they can come out as whatever they were. They can create a brand new sim. It could be a baby, it could be a teenager, a young adult, an elder, whatever you want it to be. They can be reborn, and they will be reborn with like similar traits as what they had when in their previous life, and they continue kind of their soul's journey, right? And it's a fantastic way for people to like be able to like cope with like your sim dying, because they're able to die and you're able to like make a new sim, but it still feels like the same person, so you're kind of able to reconcile that. But like, I'm losing my mind about the ramifications that has on the general like lore of The Sims. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does the soul mean in this case? Like, what is the soul of a thing, right? Like, if Nardvillain dies and becomes a ghost and becomes like a brand new like Asian American tiny woman, is that still Nardvillain? Or is it a new person? Like what you guys answer that question. What do you think? Is Nard still Nard if the soul is the same, or do they become a new person?
So meta.
I'm gonna let Nard answer that first before I answer.
I think Nard is still Nard, but with other attributes. Like his
Mhm.
soul's still there, but he's able to kind of relive life in a different form. I
It's
think.
like
Yeah.
Jack from Deep Space Nine and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do you think, Stassi?
I agree with Nard. It's just
Mhm.
it's him. It's just a reincarnation of him. It's like
Mhm.
people who may believe they've had past lives. It could
Sure.
just be them. It's just a past life. And he gets brought on to the next life.
So who do you think is gonna make the official like, Soul's Journey challenge? Like basically
Oh.
being able to play the same sim for like generations, just nonstop. Like someone's gonna have to make it. Nard, make it right now.
I was
Like
gonna say,
get on it. Like
are you pitching this for you to do this? Because it sounds like a
no,
you
No.
project.
no, I can't. I don't know. I don't even know how to pay my bills in The Sims sometimes. I have to ask my chat. I have to be like, guys, how do I pay my bills?
Isn't it
All
the
right, so
mailbox? I'm just saying, isn't it the
no,
mailbox?
it's not. It's not though. Or maybe it is. Yes, it is. I use my phone.
It's the mailbox. You are the king of lore, and I know
No.
nothing, and at least I know. Almost swore there, mailbox.
Or your phone.
Or your phone, exactly. No, but it is an interesting aspect. I actually, as you know, I made a video that covers this particular aspect because I believe that The Sims may have inadvertently solved all of the plot holes of The Sims 3, right? So basically, up until this point, we thought that The Sims 4 existed in an alternate universe, right? We had this whole conversation before in one of our podcasts that everything's kind of like different, right? But if The Sims 4 is now retconning that souls can continue to persist, then it's very possible that like Bella Goth from The Sims 2 died and then reincarnated as The Sims 4 Bella, right? It's just
Yeah.
the same soul persisting across different bodies, right? And I legitimately believe that you can actually say that. You can now say, yes, it is all the same timeline. They have just moved on from their bodies and it's now like 100 years in the future or 200 years, like whatever the case you want it to be, right? Like the once you get into like the metaversing of like souls, then I think you can finally do that, and I'm sticking to that. I'm gonna call a Sims guru and I'm gonna tell them that this is what they need to do because I think it's the right answer. So I'm excited for it.
Aren't you the Sims guru? I'm
Yeah, aren't
confused.
you?
I,
Yeah.
I'm not officially. I don't have the official title. I'm not Sims Guru Gonz on Twitter.
I have the title. Like,
Yeah, they are. There are official Sims gurus. Like they
Yeah.
have official
Yes.
titles, and I'm not one of those yet.
yeah, Gonz is the Lord of the Lore.
No, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, go
this does make sense though for like a lot of characters. Like for example, Michael Batchelor
yeah,
just like unanswered died like as an old man, even
Yeah.
though he was around the same age as Bella. So I wonder if this does kind of explain some of the deaths, like Bella's death, for example, or
Yeah.
Why does Olive look so much younger? Like,
yeah. That was a crazy change. When I posted like my theories about the three new characters,
Mhm.
you know, the nervous subject, Olive Spectre, and then Ichabod Spectre, which is what I thought. People came at me and were like, "No, that's Ophelia Spectre. Like she's way too young." And I'm like, "Nah, that's definitely Olive Spectre." And lo and behold, it is Olive Spectre. Olive Spectre is back in Life and Death as a adult. She is no longer the elder from The Sims 2. Still very much buddy buddy with the Grimm, and she has a really interesting look. It's curious that they chose not to make her an elder. I don't know why do you think they did that? Like, what's your thought? Like, why wouldn't she be an elder in this one?
I don't know.
Nobody answered. I was gonna say because EA forgets about elders, so they wouldn't put her as an elder. Sorry, Daddy.
Of all the times, right? Of all the times to do that. Yeah, and like
Oh, sorry. Is she nervous? So, sorry, nervous subject no
Yes.
longer called nervous.
Yes, that's
Is
right.
Olive's child or
Yes,
no?
yes, yes. Nervous subject, as we all know, is Olive Specter's child in The Sims 2. They were abducted from Olive and living with the oh my God, I'm forgetting their name. Nard, pull out your Sims 2 knowledge. Who did nervous subject live with? Come on, man.
Can't
Remember for
remember.
me.
Can't
Oh my
remember.
gosh. Well,
Wasn't it
I
like an uncle or something?
no, no,
Or
oh
no?
my God, I'm forgetting. Your chat's gonna your chat's gonna blow up, Stassi. They're just gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe he doesn't know this.
Yes.
But yeah, they live in Strange Town with another family, right? But they have decided to rename Nervous Subject to Nyan Spectre, right? Now, I had spoken to the Sims Guru about this, and the official position is that Nervous Subject was kind of like their abducted name. It wasn't their official name. And because they wanted to add depth to the character, they chose to rename Nervous to Nyan Spectre, right? Which I appreciate. I understand why they did that, but I honestly kind of disagree. Like, Nervous Subject was an incredibly important like figure to a lot of individuals. Like, to some people, Nervous was like their favorite character. Like, it was one of the few characters in The Sims 2 who was like your typical like punk rock, stoner teenager. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And to rename him kind of like makes it difficult for people to accept because like that's who he's always been, right? But they did rename him. He is Olive's child, and Olive has a brand new husband by the name of Lion Coffins, which I love that. So for those of you who don't know, who are listening to this, Olive Specter has had a myriad of husbands, and it is presumed that she killed all of them. Why did she kill all of them? Because her true love is the Grim Reaper, and she wants to be close to the Grim Reaper. How do you get close to the Grim Reaper? You kill people so that he appears, right? So all of her husbands have met unfortunate ends, and they all have stupid, campy names. There is Early Demise, Euthanasia, Rigor Mortis, and the only one who doesn't have a like silly name like that and died of natural causes was Ichabod Specter, who I actually thought this individual was Ichabod Specter, but it turns out they are not Ichabod Specter. They are lion coffins. So they continued that aspect. Hmm?
Is he a vampire?
No, he's not, surprisingly. But he is a very interesting sim. He has like slick back hair and he has all this like cool
Yeah.
features about him. Um, but yeah, that's all of that, but everything I just said, by the way, is in the game. Like, they have brought back all of that lore, and I think that's the other thing that I wanna talk about. I'm really excited about this pack, by the way. I'm sorry if I'm just talking your ears off, by the way. I'm just like really stoked about it. So they have finally, after a long time, brought back lore properly to the game, right? They had been kind of like adding lore here and there for like all of their expansions. Like Tomarang kind of had like lore around like the history of Tomarang, but like you had to like do like collectibles in order to get that lore, and like who does that, right? Um, but in Life and Death, they actually built in quests. So there's actually um around the city there are tarot card tomes, right? Or like stands or pedestals or whatever you want to call them, right? If you click on it, it will tell you that there is this secret order of Lenore that is basically an order, like a secret order around the world, that if you go around and like help the order, you will unlock this great secret in Ravenwood, right? So then there are these like four or five sims that appear in the list that you can then go visit. And when you visit them, you have a new interactable option to ask for a favor. And when you ask for a favor, you actually get prompted a series of quests that each themselves present lore to the story. So like Olive Spectre is one of them, and you learn all about her husbands and all about her experiences. You learn about Nyan Spectre and his relationship to his dad, the Grim Reaper. Like all of that is in the game now, not just little pop-ups at the top of the screen where like it just kind of goes away. Like it is actually fleshed out into the story. And that is such a huge change. I played, for the purposes of recording this for a video, I started at 8 o'clock in the morning to get all of the lore, and it took me, hand to God, until 8 p.m. to finish. So nonstop, no sleep, no food, just trying to figure this out took me 12 hours to complete. So it is a significant amount of gameplay that they've added in order to like tell this grand story of Ravenwood, and it's really good. I mean, I'd love to talk about it, but we might get into like spoiler territory. Do we want to do that?
Game's already. I mean,
Yeah.
yes. But this.
How many of those like those tomes are there? Aren't there like 12 or a dozen or more, right?
Yes. So
I want to do a challenge. I want to challenge myself to find all of them. Because don't you have to search for them?
Yes, you do have to search for them.
Yeah.
You do have to search for them. I won't tell you where you get them, but I am going to spoil a lot of things, Nard. So I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin your life. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. So Ravenwood is an ancient world. It's been here since like again, it's based on Romania, so it's been here forever. There was apparently a band of ancient like nomads, right, that were wandering this wood when they came across this like witch, right? And the game reveals that the witch is actually Lady Raven Dancer Goth, who is the ancient ancestor of Mortimer Goth, right? This name rung a bell to me because this is not the first time we've heard of Lady Raven Dancer Goth. If you've ever played The Sims 3, there is an item in the game called Lady Raven Dancer Goth's Book of Spells, which is basically an item that you got in The Sims 3 that allowed your character to learn spells. It was part of like the Supernatural pack or whatever, right? That's all we ever knew about that. Like that's all we had ever heard about Raven Dancer, right? And then in The Sims 4 Paranormal Stuff pack, right? They had released an item called Lady Raven Dancer Goth's Mystic Crystal Ball, right? So again, they had referenced this little crystal ball from this Lady Raven Dancer Goth, and all the while it was just kind of like a name, but they finally decided to put this individual into the game with lore. So apparently these nomads had encountered Raven Dancer, and they were just shocked. Like they were like, oh my God, like she's so pretty, she's so amazing, like we'll do whatever you want, right? And she was like, oh, you should go this way. You know, I'm what I'm about to say bothers me because I want to be like a professional, but like some of the things we say are so stupid when it comes to The Sims. So they encountered a goat. They encountered a goat called Moppy, who led them to a clearing and founded the town. I'm sorry. I'm giving you guys 100% lore right now, and I hate how dumb it is. But yes. They founded the town of Crow's Crossing. Okay, and Crow's Crossing, the founder is Moppy the goat. All right, so when you go to Crow's Crossing in Ravenwood, you are gonna see statues of goats everywhere, and that's their homage to Moppy. Right now. The crazy thing about Moppy is that apparently Moppy can talk. Apparently Moppy's eyes glow red. So I don't know what's up with Moppy. All right, if anyone here wants to figure that out, I have yet to figure it out. Moppy seems kind of scary to me, right? But anyway, all that to be said, right? After you gather all of you do all the favors for the Order of Lenore. You learn that the Order of Lenore is a an order of tarot readers, right? Again, we sort of mentioned it earlier, but tarot card readings are now in the game, and it is very faithful to real tarot cards. So if any of you who are listening are actually fans of tarot, or you guys think that maybe The Sims is taking an insensitive approach to it, I can tell you without a doubt it is very, very faithful to real tarot. The only thing I'll say is that some of the things that were changed in real tarot are perhaps more because of like the more Christian themed things of tarot, like Satan and the Hanging Man. Those were changed to different names because The Sims probably doesn't want to associate with that kind of imagery, right? So they changed the name of that kind of stuff. But otherwise, it's exactly the same. And again, much like tarot, when you have a tarot deck, you can actually draw a tarot card and it'll tell you like what you should do that day. Like you can draw a tarot, like you could draw a tarot card and it'll be like, you should focus on growing plants. That's what's good for you right now. So I know that there's gonna be a tarot challenge where like you have to like draw a tarot card and you just have to do that. Like that's what you have to do that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you could like set some kind of like weird arbitrary role where like you have to do something at the end of your challenge, but you have to do what the tarot cards tell you to do. You know, like I think that would be a good idea. But anyway, all things to say. So at the end of this like story, you end up learning that the secret of the Order of Lenore is that they all they're all led by Lady Ravendancer Goth. And once you've collected all of the tarot cards, you actually create Lady Ravendancer Goth's tarot deck, her original tarot deck. And this tarot deck is actually extraordinarily unique because it has the ability to summon Ravendancer Goth. So you actually use it and she appears in the game. She is a ghost. What I found really interesting about her actually was that when you bring her back to life, she's actually dark-skinned, which is curious because Mortimer's not, right? So like something clearly happened in like the genealogy that changed that. But when you look at Lady Ravendancer, you see that she was killed by crows. Like that's her death is murder by crows.
I also love that a bunch of crows is called a murder, like more than 3 crows.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't a mistake either. But yeah, absolutely. When you talk to Ravendancer, her ghost, she reveals that Ravenwood used to be full of ravens, right? And that in fact her family was the landowners of Ravenwood. So Ravenwood very much is the Goth ancestral home, right? Like it is where the Goths came from, which again explains why the Goths are so rich. We finally have like an official canonized reason why they're so rich, and it's because they are literally ancient European nobility, right? So they came exactly. So they came from here, right? And the Ravenwood used to be full of ravens, it's in the name, but Ravendancer remarks that there are no longer ravens. Everything is full of crows, right? And again, that's very interesting because Ravendancer died of crows. If you do a little bit more investigating, you actually learn that all of the crows around Ravenwood all come from the Grimm's house, right? And we actually learn that all of them speak to the Grim Reaper. Like they all report to the Grim Reaper. They do what the Grim Reaper wants, which if you put 2 and 2 together, if Lady Ravendancer Goth died of crows, it is because the Grim Reaper killed Lady Ravendancer Goth. He killed her so that he could take over Ravenwood, which is what he ultimately did. So the Grim Reaper sucks, Nard. I can't believe that you support him. I can't believe that he's your boy. He killed ancient Goths. That's not cool. But yeah, that is that. Now, what I just said isn't like proven, right? but I legitimately believe that that is what ultimately happened. I mean, all the pieces are there to put together. And just like Court said, by the way, there are indications that Raven Dancer was a spellcaster, right? Which implies then that the spellcaster genes are are in Mortimer and Cassandra and Alexander. Not Bella. Bella is different from all that, but in Mortimer, absolutely. So yeah, all of everything I just said was in this pack. Like I haven't had this much lore since The Sims 2. I've been eating. Like it's been so good. Like I'm looking forward to this. Like, you know how everyone talks about Bella's disappearance? I hope everyone talks about this like 5 years from now. Like this is all they're gonna talk about because it's just wild, right? Like there's so
I was going to say, I feel like EA was like, okay, we need to make a pack that's going to make Gonz and Nard happy. So let's make it about death and then put a bunch of lore in it. And then
Yeah. I'm just trying to make some Reaper babies.
Exactly. Exactly. No, yeah, and yeah, so like obviously the lore means a lot to me, right? And I'm sure to some of the people that are listening that's the case too. But it's not everything. Like I don't want you guys to walk away thinking like, oh, this is like a lore expansion, like I'm not interested. Like that's not the case at all. There is tremendous amounts of gameplay that we've talked about that has nothing to do with the lore, right? You have festivals in Ravenwood, and no, you don't have to have city living in order to enjoy them. They come with life and death. And there's a bunch of them. There's like a family day festival where a bunch of people just come by to like hang out and do fun things. There is like I forget the exact name. If Nard, if you can remember it, you let me know. But like it's like Spectres Anonymous, where like ghosts who don't accept that they've died all meet to like talk about it. Yeah. Like it's literally like Alcoholics Anonymous almost, where like they all just kind of get together and talk about how difficult it is to be a ghost. Then there's another one that's very Wiccan themed, where it's like a bunch of people meet up in order to like make a bonfire and then like swim in the river under moonlight naked, right? Again, very pagan, right? But that's another one that's there as well.
Hippie.
Very hippie. Yes, exactly. So they have that in the game as well. Obviously, they have the careers. They have crypts. They have cemeteries now, which are this new lot type, which you can make anywhere, by the way. You can now make cemeteries, as long as you have life and death, anywhere in the game. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are probably going to go and like update like Brindleton and other places with cemeteries. Nard's going to make a cemetery house.
And let's not forget that you can woohoo in the crypts too.
That's right. You can woohoo in the crypts, which is gross, but yes, you can do that. You could also woohoo in the coffins. Mm-hmm. That's another one that you can actually do, which I think you might have always been able to as a vampire. Maybe I'm wrong,
as a vampire. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how I.
The trait's gonna be dope too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then we also there are also a lot of other little things, obviously that are too much to mention. The build buy has been really fun too. There's a lot of really cool builds. Like I said before, it's a combination of things, right? You have like the ghostly, decrepit stuff. You also have the very like Romanian village stuff, like wicker. There's actually this beautiful wicker fence that's going to be amazing for generations challenges. Like it's just gorgeous, right? They have all of that there. And then of course they have like Eastern European like bricks for like castles and stuff like that. So it very much is very like well-rounded and I like it. I like it a lot, right? It's very neat. I'm not a fan too much of the clothing options because it's all very goth themed and that's not really like my thing. But I'm sure other people will really enjoy it. I know Nard will. You should update your sim, Nard.
I did already, and
did you really?
I actually spent at least a good hour just in cast playing around with all the hair, all the outfits. They have like some really good full body outfits too for both masculine and feminine builds. It's nice. And then playing around with the traits. I'm still exploring the traits a little bit, but we got a few of those too.
speaking about the traits, Nard, I actually thought it was really funny. So you can make ghosts in Kaz now, right? We talked about that. There is a trait called skeptic, which its whole thing is like you don't believe in ghosts. I'm gonna make a ghost that's skeptical that ghosts exist.
That's funny.
I think that would just be great.
That'd be hilarious.
But yeah, there's skeptical. Then there is
Chased by death.
Yeah, chased by death, which is you're always fearful that something's gonna happen. There's macabre, right? Which is you're very much like your typical like goth emo person.
You
that just
embrace the death.
Exactly, you embrace the death. Exactly. And
Grimborn.
Grimborn, yes, Grimborn. You can only get Grimborn if you are a baby of the Grim. You have to be born of the Grim. And what's really interesting is that you actually get a tattoo like right here that it's a scythe in your neck, like a scythe tattoo, which indicates that you are Grimborn. Only Sims of the Grim have that, which I thought that was
cool.
That was very cool. That was very cool. Yeah, the whole woohoo with the Grim Reaper, that's I know that's your thing, Nard. I think it's a little weird, but like more power to you, buddy.
Yeah. Don't hate.
While we're talking about woohooing the Grim Reaper, back to lore. So does this make Olive like kind of a double agent because she's part of the order, Lady Raven Dancer Goth, but then she's like got a relationship with the Grim Reaper. So
it's weird. It makes me wonder if that's the case. I honestly don't know. That's a really good question. I should examine that.
You have homework.
Yeah, exactly. While walking away with homework. But yeah, like I said, there's so much. What I didn't notice, however, having said all of that, and Nard, you tell me, is there any new food? I don't think there is.
What about the welcome wagon?
That's Pan de Muerte has been in the game forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've noticed because I feel like Romania should have some Romanian food. Yeah.
Yeah, it should, but I don't think there are
types of recipes. I haven't noticed. I haven't really.
Yeah, I looked and I didn't see anything. Oh, we didn't talk about wills. I totally forgot about that.
And heirlooms.
So you can, and heirlooms. That's right. So you can make wills now, which basically is that you can bequeath your money and your family members and your possessions to individuals. You can actually bequeath them to anybody. It doesn't have to be like a family member. Like you could just give everything to Don Lothario if you want. I mean, it's your life, right? But what I thought was cool is that previously, that when you died, like your character, your sim died, you would lose your pets and your children. Like they would just disappear from the game, right? Now, if you die and your will states it, your pets and your children will go to whoever you stated in your will. So they'll actually move automatically into their household. And if you don't specify it in the will, they go into like a container household. So they get put into like the managed households so that you can place them wherever you want. So they're not just like lost forever now, which I thought was very cool.
I think that's a base game update too, right?
Yes.
Because now,
yes.
If you neglect your toddlers and stuff,
yes, exactly,
they can go into that container house.
Exactly. Yes. 100%. Yeah. The heirloom option it's actually very interesting. You can select almost any item to make it an heirloom. So it basically, you can then will that item, right? Which, like, I know the moment that we saw that, everyone was like, okay, can you like heirloom like a grilled cheese sandwich? And you can, by the way, you absolutely can do that. But you can heirloom anything.
I haven't tried food yet. That's
yeah.
Cool.
But you can heirloom just about anything. You could also engrave it, so you can actually add like a special like note to the item, and that'll persist. Like you can then give it to someone and will it away, and the item is officially considered an heirloom. It it's like denoted. Like when you click on the item, you can view heirloom, you can view engraving. So you can have things that just pass on forever and ever and ever, which I think is fantastic. Um, Obviously, Sims can argue about heirlooms and wills. So like during like the funeral service, your Sims, like your family can fight over your will and everything, which I thought was dope too. Um, yeah, and I think am I forgetting anything about heirlooms that I'm not remembering, Nard?
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's everything there.
You can set, well, with the wills, you can set emotions, like how they supposed to react
Yes.
to whatever you write to them.
Yeah, that's right. You can actually set how you want your funeral to be, which I know that's a very real thing, but personally, I don't think I could do that. Like I don't think I could honestly be like, "All right, guys, for my funeral, I want them to play Jay-Z, like just nonstop Jay-Z. I want everybody to dance. I don't want anybody to be unhappy. I want there to be exclusively Domino's pizza. Like I would never do that. I'm sure there are people who would do that, but I would never. But that's effectively what you can do in wills. You can actually specify how you want your funeral to be, what people do, how people should act.
And feel, yeah.
So yeah, so that's cool, I guess. Um, when I saw this in the trailer, by the way, I lost it. But during funerals, they actually had like a pour one out
Yeah.
emote, which I thought was so silly.
Pour one out for the
Pour
homies.
one out for the homies, man. Yeah.
It's funny. I like it. It's just kind of out of place, right? But it was good. Um, and then there's I mentioned it earlier, but there is the soul's journey. And the soul's journey basically is something that every sim now gets when they're created. Effectively, it is your life's like bucket list, right? So the way it works now is that it either gets created naturally, or if you sit down with a diary, you can actually search for like a bucket list item. And what basically happens is that you can choose some kind of aspiration that you want to reach in your life. So like, go skinny dipping in the moon, or do like crocheting, and like whatever the case is, right? And you can get these like lifetime bucket lists aspirations that you want to achieve, and it takes you your entire life, right? And it has a whole progress that you can go through and actually experience and go through. It's again, it adds this new dimension to your sim journey, right? Like I've in my videos I've made comments like The Sims is changing forever and stuff like that, and it isn't clickbait. Like I'm not kidding. Like how you play The Sims fundamentally changes with life and death, right? Like what you do on a daily basis, how you experience it, the things that you do, what it means to grow old, dying, leaving things to your family, being reincarnated, or even playing as a ghost. That hasn't actually been an option in The Sims 4 officially, right?
Yeah.
Like you would die and it'd be game over, right? Now when you die, it gives you an option of like, hey, do you want to be a ghost? Okay, yeah, sure, let's be a ghost. And you can just keep playing. You know what I mean? Like it has, and not only just keep playing, but now you're a ghost, but you still have your soul's journey. You still have your bucket list items. You still have your aspirations and what you want to do. And you could decide, like, you know what? Like, I don't like doing this as a ghost. I'm going to be reborn and I'm going to continue my soul's journey. I'm going to now have a second opportunity to continue to do what I need to do to achieve my goals, right? Which I think is an amazing, amazing change. And I've loved every second of it, and just super stoked for it. I think it's an amazing, amazing pack. And I'm not shilling it either, by the way. Like I legitimately think it's amazing, and I'm really excited for it. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, and I haven't even gotten as far as Gonz, and I'm like pretty stoked too, just from what I've actually played and checked out.
Nard is just killing people with crows and woohooing the Grim. That is exclusively what Nard is doing with this.
I'm doing a little more than that, I'm playing around in Create a Sim and experimenting with the ghost. I like that you can kind of create bony ghosts too. They don't have to necessarily have flesh. They can come out looking like Bone Hilda.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's true. That's
that's
true.
pretty
That's true.
cool too.
Did
Yeah.
you what Stassi, Court, like what are your, out of everything we've talked about, what is like the most exciting thing for you?
Um, Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, the
Yeah.
lore is really exciting for me, I would
Yeah,
say. So yeah, having Olive back is really cool. And then learning more about Lady Raven Dancer is really exciting too.
for sure.
Yes. I'll piggyback on that. I mean, as the builder that I pretend to be, I'm really just excited for the build buy. I'm excited that you're able to customize tombstones and have like custom graveyards and have mourning ceremonies. I think that was definitely something that was missing in The Sims, is that's no longer missing. I honestly, the thing I'm just the most excited about with this pack is it's not a carbon copy of other versions of The Sims.
Yeah.
Like this is a standalone, like a new idea. This is something that I think the community's wanted for a long time. It's just something unique and different. So I'm really just excited about that. And then I've seen the build buy. It looks absolutely stunning. I've seen the cast. It looks great. Like, I love lore, don't get me wrong, but it's lost on a girl like me. I'm just here to make as I say courtyards. Like I'm
Cemeteries.
cemeteries. Thank you. I'm here to make cemeteries and funeral homes and just have my goth gore, like all my goth stuff. Okay, like that is what I want.
Right, right, right.
Yes.
No, you're not wrong. It kind of has something for everyone, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I definitely eat my words. I thought this was like a silly, pointless pack that was going to be Halloween themed nonsense, but it is an absolute masterpiece of a pack. So I'm definitely excited to see what comes next, because we're gonna get fairies next time. I'm gonna say that every time I'm on this podcast. The next expansion pack is gonna be fairies. All right, I officially, like, you heard it here first. It's gonna be fairies. You watch.
I
You
hope you
watch.
know the next expansion pack, when it's not fairies, I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to play it.
You're just gonna do
I'm
that forever. You're just gonna clip
you
it. Like,
I'm just gonna
it's
clip it. 100% I'm just gonna clip it. There's
it
there's
is.
no way we're getting fairies.
We're
We'll get
Tell me
fairies.
why.
We'll get fairies eventually, but not right now.
Why? Why?
Oh, okay.
Why?
Here is the reason. There's been This is another occult pack. Okay.
Yes.
I think we're a little tapped down on occults for a little bit. I want to see other avenues that they can take with the Sims, especially now that they're not coming out with Sims 5. They're focusing
Hmm.
on Sims 4. There's pack ideas till the cows come home, but I think they're going to shelf anything occult for the rest of this year at least. We could maybe see fairies in 2025, 2026, but not right now.
We're we're not friends anymore.
Okay, bye.
I
Zombies, it's not even fairies.
I was okay. So speaking about that, I made this whole prediction about what this expansion was going to be before we knew anything about it, and
Mhm.
like I hit the nail on some things, and then I was completely wrong about others. Like, I predicted that we were going to have an underworld map, which we kind of did at the end of the day, sort of, right? And I also predicted that ghosts were going to become an occult, which again I was pretty right about that. And
Mhm.
then I also predicted zombies, and they didn't do zombies. And I'm not trying to like get more than I want here, but they should have added zombies. I think that would have
Yeah.
been a cool thing to add. And I don't think they're going to have another opportunity to do it. So I don't think we're ever going to get zombies,
See,
like, ever.
I predicted that they were going to do like a Mexican Day of the Dead. I thought that's
Sure, sure,
how they
sure.
were going to do it because it was coming out on Halloween. To be honest with
Right.
you, I'm really disappointed in the lack of life. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
okay, that's
death,
fair.
but
Right.
not in anything in the life, because I predicted that there would be a new birth. There would be another
Oh.
way of showing
Oh, got
life.
you. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's life and death, right? I
Right.
just feel like you
Right.
could just remove the life part of this pack and just call it the death expansion pack.
But still
If
kind of life though, because you're still going through
there-
the life journey, your milestones,
But that's
and
really it.
But
Yeah.
that's it. And then I
That's
guess
really it,
you
yeah.
get reincarnated, but
Yeah.
that's reincarnation.
Right.
I really
Yeah.
I was just wanting more of the life aspect. And what does
No,
that look
absolutely.
like, right? So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, and
shocked to see that. I was like,
yeah.
oh, like this is the stuff they were going to take with it. I wasn't expecting that. I'm
Mhm.
really excited. I do wish they would have focused on the life portion as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's very much there's a lot in like the townies that exist, right? Almost all of them have like a ghost relative and
Mm-hmm.
like that they passed on and like they're doing something else and like again, just like usual, there aren't really any babies. There's no townie babies, right? There's no townie kids. They're all adults and or ghosts or whatever. So again, everything does feel like it's focused on that. So I 100% see where you're coming from there. Um, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was poor naming. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just say that they
Yeah.
named this poorly, right?
Yeah, they
Um,
do.
Hip Hip Renee actually made the joke video about this where she pretended like, oh, the Sims like naming team for packs or whatever, and she made fun of the fact that like EA often does like get to work or get out, like it's just like the silliest names for things, the most literal things. And she was like, someone must have been in there who was like, this pack is going to be about life and death, and like they're like, that's what we should call it, life and death, and that was it. That was it. That's what they landed on, and that's what they went with. But if they would have named it something else, I think we wouldn't be having this conversation. So
Yeah.
Great. Great.
I felt like I did predict that well, I ain't gonna say predict, but when I heard that they were coming out with like some type of life and death expansion pack, like my first thoughts were hopefully we'll get a glimpse of Netherworld at some point. I talked about a Grim Reaper career like 2 years ago too, but I
Which
wasn't thinking that it would be an expansion pack. I was thinking, oh, they'll do or give us like a stuff pack where maybe they can throw in like a small little like freelancing reaper career where maybe you can kind of do some reaping stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool that they made it all into like this big expansion pack that can kind of include a little bit of rebirth, a little bit of ghost occult and some lore that goes all the way back to like the Goth family existence and stuff like that. So I think it was, from what I'm playing and from what I've seen so far, it's up there as a favor in regards to just all the 60, 70 DLCs we have. I think so far the trailer's been pretty spot on. I like the both gameplay trailer and the regular trailer. The promotion's been great. The marketing I feel like has been really good. Throwing out tarot cards to us and all that good stuff, dropping it right around Halloween, stuff like that. I don't know. I just think it's plus this is my vibe too. I kind of like the Halloween, the death portion of it. I think we get 3 deaths, right, Gonz? I think we get like the crows, death by elder, and then can't something happen in the bog or whatever. I haven't experienced that yet, but
not that I saw.
oh,
I could
okay.
be wrong. I know that Death by Elder
Definitely
is
2.
is one,
Mhm.
but I don't remember the third one. Which, by
Okay.
the way, since this is a sponsored video, EA, can you guys release the tarot cards as like an official merch, please? Is that something that we can do? Like, I need those tarot cards in my life. I want them like as real merch, like actual tangible cards. I would pay so much money, like ridiculous amounts of money for that. Like, I need that. So, EA, you heard my demands. All right, you need to act. Thank you very much.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
send
I'm
me
gonna go
another
off as a.
copy. I can't find mine, EA.
Oh my
Send me
God,
another.
Nard, really?
I still got this though. Thank you, EA. Whatever that is.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, well, your
whatever
dad,
that is, Nard. Jesus.
your business daddy's favorite kids. So like they'll listen to you.
Exactly.
Now I am the orange head stepchild.
Poor Stassi's been complaining since day one about
Yeah.
everything. Come on, Stassi. Jeez Louise.
What can I say? It's part of my traits.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't think we're missing anything. I think we've talked about just about everything that you can do in life and death. I think we've touched about just about everything. Let
Yeah.
us know in the comments if we missed something, I guess, because I'm curious.
Absolutely. I mean, the game is out now. Please let us know if you
Yeah,
are enjoying this game. But I want to
absolutely.
thank Mynameisgonz for coming here, sharing all this lore. Disney and Nardvillain, thank you so much for coming here today. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we close up?
We're getting fairies in 2024.
Oh my goodness.
2025, you mean?
2025.
No. No. We're getting fairies 2024. This next season, which is the Christmas season, we are getting fairies. We'll see.
Stop trying to make fairies happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it, and I bet you. Look, I'm gonna tell you this right now. All right, we're gonna get it because we're gonna get elves, and that's gonna be fairies. The elves are gonna be like a combination. So we're not gonna have fairies. We're gonna have elves.
They're not fairies. No,
We're gonna have elves. Listen, I know when I'm right. All right, I know when I'm right, and I know what's gonna happen here. Okay,
We're
so,
not.
I'm
We're
derailing
not getting.
things.
We're
but I'm
not
right.
getting 3 expansion packs in 1 year. Like, calm down. Calm the
Listen,
fudge
all right,
down. Okay.
they're on a vibe. All right, I
about a
believe in EA.
What about a fairy kit or a stuff pack? How about that? Maybe a fairy stuff
no,
pack.
no. If you're giving us fairies
Maybe a
and
little
elves,
kit.
I want the most exclusive. I want like a double expansion pack. Okay,
No.
make it $150.
Let's bring those
give me
game.
all.
No, let's bring back those gameplay kits like Buster Dust. It'll be one for fairies.
Oh God,
The community would rage quit if that's all they gave us of fairies is just like a
I'm
fairy
pitch.
costume. No,
it's gonna gonna be a fairy kit, and it'll be like wing cosmetics.
yes,
And
Mhm.
and dresses like and ears, pointy ears.
I'ma push it.
cosmetic.
I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to EA.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm reaching out. I'm gonna be like, hey, have y'all thought about a fairies kit? The community
They're like
will love that
writes
one.
up every day.
I mean, if we're getting drivable cars, that's also up there for
I don't see that
everybody.
happening.
I would break the game.
I don't know.
The
If we're
game
getting-
engine's not designed for that.
But hold on. Excuse me. Maybe not drivable cars, but if you could put cars on lots and then click them to travel, that's enough for me.
Yes.
That's enough for me.
That's
Just
enough for me.
just give me cars that I can place. Give me an array of cars. Give me sports cars, minivans, trucks, etc. I can put them on my lot and I can click them to travel. That's all I want. I'm happy with that. That gives me what I need. I don't have to drive around the world. All right.
Yeah.
So
The
all I
game
need.
engine's not fit. Ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen because that's open world capability. But I see kind of if they at least you can place them on the lot and then you can click on it and then rabbit hole to wherever you gotta go. I can see that, but
Yeah, and they could
that's
even
not
do it. You know how like horse the horse items are very big because they have to account for the horse moving. They could do that with like car parking lots or whatever, where you put them on a lot and they're like a long strip, so that when you click them to travel, you actually see them like move out of the parking lot and then it goes to a loading screen. Like that's enough for me. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
they do it with bikes. I mean, they should be
Yeah.
able to do it with automobiles, but we'll see.
While we're on
legitimately
Winterfest wish list here, I want spiral staircases. Like that's all I want in life.
Never gonna happen. It's too difficult. You can't even path around a plate. How are you gonna path around circular staircases? It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Or can I just say half open doors, half open windows, and blankets
Oh,
and
that'd be
splitter?
dope.
I'm just saying. If we're again Winterfest, this is all what you're asking for is a lot. I'm just asking for just a little like half open window, half open door. Not asking for the world, guys. I'm just asking for something small.
Well, now that we have the creator kits, we might get something like that because they're free to do what they want within the confines of the game engine.
Mhm.
So maybe maybe one day. I'm gonna make a fairy kit. I'm gonna come out as a CC creator and I'm gonna make a fairy kit and I'm gonna be part
Me
of the
too.
creator kits and I'm gonna piss everyone off. That's what I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna make a bunch of band gear, some drums and some
do.
damn
Exactly. It's gonna be blender.
bass guitars. Yeah.
My first blender kit, and that's what it's gonna be. And it's gonna be the worst items.
Subscribe to his Patreon.
Subscribe to his Patreon. And I think on that cheerful note, kids, I think this is where we should probably end this podcast.
Probably.
Well, thank you so much for Gonz, Nard, and Disney for coming here today. Gonz, where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Patreon, everywhere as Mynameisgonz. And you could also use my creator code GONZ when you're buying EA packs. Use my code exclusively. Don't use Nards. Use my code exclusively. You can use Stasis, that's okay, but not Nards, okay? Thank you.
Nard, where can we find you?
All things Nardvillain on all platforms. I'm gonna be moving my Twitch to Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, starting at 5:30. So come watch my streams, not Gonz's.
Oh, you crap. You're not.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
That
I'll
would be
stay on
funny.
Thursdays.
Thank you. Actually, we should talk about that. But anyway, go on.
What is there to discuss?
Oh,
are you guys having like a Twitch off?
No. That sounds kind of kinky in a weird way. No, but
100%.
no, I'm streaming now on Wednesdays and Saturdays now. So Mondays and Fridays are open for you, Nard, if you want them.
No, I'm good with Thursdays.
All right.
Nard,
Sorry for derailing that.
Nard, do you want to share your creator code?
Sure, Nard is my creator code.
Perfect. Disney Sims, where can we find you?
You can find me on Insta and TikTok at the Disney Sims and at Townie Tales for my stories. And then you can catch me on Thursdays and now Wednesdays and Saturdays on these two streams moderating for them.
Well, thank you so much for everyone listening today. Again, thank you, EA, so much for giving us early access to this expansion pack. It's been an absolute blast. If you're listening to this and you want to support either Nard, Gonz, or myself, please do. The creator codes will be in the description of this podcast. It is not necessary, but it is very nice. Thank you again for everyone tuning in today, and thank you, EA, again for sponsoring this video. It is so weird to say that out loud every time I do some of these podcasts now that it's sponsored by EA. It's a wild dream come true. So thank you. The only thing I want to plug is if you really like this podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, helps grow the channel as well. Later this month, my Machinima Forever and Always will be premiering on November 30th at 3 p.m. So please stay tuned to that as we have a chunk of the cast here. We have like 3/10 of the, I guess 3/12 of the cast here, almost a quarter of the cast on this
exactly. There you go.
So. Well, thank you so much for everyone being here today. Check out Forever and Always, and please enjoy this new expansion pack. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I will see you soon. Bye.